What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This is Cadman Cycling. Back at it with another after work crit. Today we're in Paris for a 10.2 mile ride around the Champs-Elysees. This is where the Tour de France ends. So I know just a few months ago, I believe, I was watching Cavendish try to pull out victory here. But this is a little bit of a lower level race. Cat C. We got 14 riders here tonight. A little bit different than what I'm used to at Crit City, different course. This one I think is a little bit flatter. Similar length, 10.2 miles, about 2 laps. It's not perfect laps with the lead-in around here, but same goal in mind. Just stick with this large group as long as I can and hopefully get to a sprint finish. It's just 14 of us today, all in Cat C. I was tinkering with my jersey before the race. I actually got stuck on the menu screen with just 5 or 6 seconds before starting, so I had to quickly jump up the watts to get ready for the start, and accidentally ended up with this Zwift jersey. So I'm in that black-gray jersey. It looks like I have another teammate in this race who decided to wear the same jersey. Oh, there's another one. So there's 3 of us with the orange Z on the back. But we'll see what we can do today. Like I said, it's a pretty flat course. It's going to be tough to get away, tough to get an attack going without hills on this race. So we'll see how well the group stays together here. We're 0.5 miles in. What I'll do today, I'll show the first 2 miles of the race. And then there wasn't a whole lot of attacks in the middle of the race. So what I'll do, I'll show the first 2 miles, and then we'll jump to about 8 miles in to show the last 2.5 miles to the finish. So like I said, overall goal here, just to stick with this group, same as any other short crit race. This course doesn't do quite as much damage on the legs as Crit City does. Crit City has a few of those rollers and undulations and false flats that create a lot more surging. While this course does have some ups and downs, they're a lot more gradual. There's just one kind of going below a bridge, I believe, where it's down and right back up. But that's very quick, and you can kind of see it coming, so it doesn't hit you lap after lap after lap, since there's just 2 laps here. So that's really the only, and this is it right here. We'll kind of go the downward gradient, and if you get enough speed going, you can make it mostly back up this hill without putting in too much effort. So that's really the key feature of this course. Not a whole lot else going on. I know at the end of the Tour de France, they ride around this a whole lot more times than we do tonight. Forgive me for not knowing exactly how many, if it's 20, or I think most of the stage is actually riding around this route towards the end of the race. It was really fun watching this year with Cavendish and getting into that final sprint. I think he ended in, maybe it was 3rd place in the final sprint. But what a just great Tour de France overall. But just jumping back to this race, again, level isn't quite as high, but big group stays together. 14 of us started the race. The majority of us, it looks like, are still in this group. I'm not sure if it's 10 or 12. The pace isn't crazy. The heartbeat's low. Around 174 beats per minute is extremely low. At Crit City, I wouldn't see anything like that. And watts are below 200 and kind of sticking with this group. So far, so good. We'll see how that goes forward at 1.5 miles left. 1.5 miles into this race. I know we were talking about the Tour de France, but it's kind of interesting how Zwift has kind of got me into pro cycling a little bit. Growing up, I never really followed cycling. I just had my own hybrid bike that I'd ride around the neighborhood, but really didn't follow the sport much. And Zwift and competing on the bike has really got me into kind of following the pro riders a bit more. On the men's team, I think I really enjoy watching Legion of LA. Biased because home to the United States. But but the Williams brothers are just extremely talented, and they also do a lot of YouTube content as well. So I follow a few other YouTube cyclists, like NorCal Cycling, the Vegan Cyclist, and I think Corey has his own channel as well now. So it's interesting kind of seeing them compete at Tulsa Tough and a bunch of the other U.S. crits. As we're now 2 miles in, seems like there's a little bit of an attack off the front. Speed's definitely picking up. I'm at 250 watts. No need to kind of step on it to catch this group. It'll eventually kind of all form back together as we do go ahead and jump forward. So 8 miles in. Really not much has changed. We still got a large group. May have dropped 1 or 2, but really not too many. Heart rate's up. That's the big difference. We're now at 184 beats per minute. So the pace did pick up. It was a pretty easy start to this race, but there ended up being a few more attacks than I was expecting. And that was kind of surprising because none of them really got away. It's tough to get away at this course, but it did effectively bring the speed up of the race. So that's a portion of why the heart rate's up. I also must have kind of jumped to a point where I had just been pushing it because now I'm down to 181, 182. So still feeling all right with under 2 miles left. Just to end the last conversation though, before we jump to the finish, on the women's side, I actually kind of started following Canyon. I think they were part of a Zwift Academy video. It must have been a couple years ago now, where the winner of the Zwift Academy got a pro contract with them for the next year. So I kind of enjoyed watching that segment. Started following their team a little bit on the women's side. So I've enjoyed, watching Legion, watching Canyon, but also just getting into the Tour de France and watching pro cycling in general. So I really credit that to Zwift, the Zwift community, and really making this cycling accessible to everybody. For fans of the sport, they get to compete here, but then also watch the pros. So yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I have nothing bad to say about Zwift, as I'm sure you can tell from a lot of my previous videos. Except I need to learn how to win these sprints. I've kind of gotten to the point where in Cat C, I'm able to get to the end of a lot of these races, just having a little bit of trouble timing the sprint right and getting the power output necessary and using the power-ups at the right time to ultimately come in first. So we have another try at it again here. At least that's what it's looking like, kind of shaping up to be that way. I have this feather. I know we're still coming up to that portion of the course where it goes down under the bridge and back up. But I was feeling all right kind of around 2 miles left. So I'm hoping that if I'm in the right position going into that feature of the course, I'll be able to be on the front, stay on the front through that uphill, and then actually save this feather for the sprint. I know in a few of my other videos and watching them over again, I used my power up early in the last lap and then didn't have it for the sprint. So that's what I'm thinking going into this portion. Just a mile left. I know people are going to start going hard here. The heart rate's up to 190 though. I stay at the front here, but kind of pull off the watts a bit too much. 139, 150. Again, I was at the front, but ended up using the featherweight power up. I think just in the moment, I decided I thought it would be better used there to be able to stay on this group. And there I'm up to 500 watts just to stay on. So I probably didn't play that the perfect way. I lost my power up, but I am still where I want to be. Heart rate's up to 192 after that quick push up the hill. If anything, I'm actually probably too close to the front. This one rider kind of goes a little bit in front, but there's no reason for me to chase him. I know this group is picking up speed with just over half a mile left. So he should be caught easily. I just want to make sure right now I don't get spit out the back of this group. I need to make sure with half a mile left that I stay in the middle to the front of this group. And now all I'm thinking about is timing the sprint. Heart rate's at 191. Legs were feeling, end of the race, they're never going to feel great, but they were feeling all right. So I figure I'll give it a go, see what I have left and try to empty the tank. It's really bunching up, which is perfect for a group sprint here. Still kind of sitting in the draft, don't want to be out front, but also just waiting for somebody to go. We're around 200 now, watts up to 250, 0.3 miles left, starting to see who will make the first move. Still in a big group, one person with a drafting power up, 0.2 miles left. We're getting to the portion where one guy actually used his a ghost power up goes. I should have immediately gone. I think I waited 1 or 2 seconds to fully kick it. So while I started my sprint kind of far out, there's these 3 in front of me that got that quick push. And while I made up some ground on them, it just wasn't quite enough time. So wasn't quite snappy enough on that sprint. Still happy with the result. I got 4th overall and 3rd on Zwift Power. So still good sprint to kind of come in the middle of that group. I was happy with it. Just got to work on becoming a little bit more snappy on those sprints. So thanks guys for sticking with me. Hope you enjoyed this breakdown. Can't wait to see you on the next one. This is Cadman Cycling. Have a good one. Bye.